I was assigned to the world of an old-school wuxia romance novel, to complete the tasks assigned by the system. Once the task is done, I can escape this world by dying. But as I sank to the bottom of the lake with a rock tied to me, the one who always hated me so much he'd rather look at a dog than at me, he jumped in with a splash. He pulled me up from the lake bottom.
Shenji Wei, are you out of your mind? Throwing yourself away over some guy? Can't you have some self-respect?
If I'm not dying, what am I here for?
You can find another good man.
Host, he's blushing.
Now I'm standing by Qianli Lake, following the system's instructions, tying one end of a rope to a big rock on the shore, and tying the other end around my waist.
This time I'm definitely dead for sure. Congratulations, host. We can return smoothly.
Just as it said, I leaped, jumping into the bottomless lake.
Shenji Wei, don't jump.
Sis, did someone call me? The system was still thinking, and before it could answer, there was a splash, and my body was already in the icy lake water. I couldn't be bothered to worry anymore. I closed my eyes. 3 to 5 minutes left, and we'll be home free, each to our own.
Then hurry up and die. But I don't have a mom. I'm just a string of code.
I felt a pair of big hands wrap around my waist. I'm about to black out from lack of oxygen, can't struggle free, but I can feel that man, with a deft dagger, cuts the rope linking the stone to my waist, from my body. Suddenly the weight lifts off me, I'm pulled upward, and then carried ashore step by step.
Host, it's a man. A man is holding you. I think this is getting a bit intimate.
Who the hell saved me out of boredom? He had nothing better to do. What am I supposed to do? The system didn't respond, then slapped me on the back. I spat out a mouthful of water, and opened my eyes. I looked at the blurry figure before me, and turned my head away in despair. My plan to go home was interrupted. If he hadn't saved me, I'd probably be on my way to vacation by now. Jiang Wanyan was dripping water from his hair and clothes, each drop hitting my face, but he didn't have time to care. Seeing me awake, he yelled at me furiously.
Shenji Wei, are you crazy? Throwing yourself away for a man.
Jiang Wanyan's arm holding my shoulder stiffened at my question. He was silent for a long time, then spoke in a low voice.
Actually, you can find another good man.
Senior brother Zhao is a good man.
Host, he's blushing.
You're blushing.
I'm not. I didn't. Don't talk nonsense.
I couldn't help laughing. I rarely see him so worked up. Today, in fact, marks my 12th year in this wuxia novel world. Through the message from the system, in the year I first transmigrated, I took my father, the chief of Mount Heng sect, and found Pei Gucheng stranded in the wilderness. Actually, I had my father discover Pei Gucheng's martial arts talent, then he brought him back to Mount Heng sect, accepted him as a disciple, and taught him martial arts. Pei Gucheng is my father's second disciple. Jiang Wanying, who made it so I can't go home for now, is my father's first and senior disciple. All these years, I've been with Pei Gucheng every day, inseparable from him. Although I'm purely on a mission, others don't see it that way. Everyone thinks we'll end up together. Even my father thinks so. I can't explain it. After all, why am I so good to him? If I had to give a reason, I can't say it. I'm just focused on completing the mission so I can return to the real world and watch my bank account grow by leaps and bounds. Even if I gave other reasons, no one would believe me. I'm completely labeled as lovesick. But no one expected that after Pei Gucheng became the leader of the martial arts world, he publicly declared that his heart belonged to Wen Hangxu. Wen Hangxu wasn't just the most beautiful woman in the martial world, she was also the daughter of Pei Gucheng's parents' old friends. If it weren't for me, his junior sister, everyone would see them as a perfect match. I don't have romantic feelings for Pei Gucheng. But after knowing him for so many years, and calling him senior brother for all that time, there's still some bond there. But Pei Gucheng doesn't see it that way. He thinks I'm madly in love with him, which is why I've been helping him all these years. As the dad of a classic male lead, his personality is just like those old-school heroes, full of confidence. Later, he met Wen Hangxu, the one he truly liked. He figured that by then, I should keep playing the part of the one hopelessly in love with him, and do my part by voluntarily bowing out of this love triangle. And I did exactly what he wanted. After all, I never liked him to begin with. Everything I did was for the mission. In our line of work, the worst thing is falling for a client and then staying in another world. Betrayal is nothing. What if I can't even keep my life? Betrayal is nothing. What if I can't even keep my life? They all chose to stay in the other world for a man, and in the end, their outcomes weren't great. They got heartbroken and lost money. After finally coming back, because they fell in love with their mission target, violating the rules. They lost all their bonuses. After being saved by Jiang Wenying, he brought me back to Mount Heng Sect. Now he is the leader of Mount Heng Sect. 2 years ago, when my father died, he passed the leadership to him. I'm lying in my room at Mount Heng Sect now, and ask the system with anguish.
Tomsy, what do I do now? Jiang Wenying watches me every day.
No problem. Originally, after you complete the mission, you'd get a year, arranged for you to gradually weaken over the year, and die a natural death. Now it's just going back a bit later.
Is there any way to die sooner?
Yes, but it costs money.
How much?
Half of the mission bonus.
You might as well rob me. I worked so hard to complete the mission, just to let me die a little earlier, and it doesn't affect the outcome, and you want half my bonus.
It's head office's policy.
I closed my eyes, and chose to curse with my expression. For the money, I decided to tough it out another year. In the evening, Jiang Wenying came again.
Junior sister, how are you now?
Not dying yet for now. Jiang Wenying didn't speak. I don't know what expression she has now, because I can't see. The system auto-generates my translations.
Host, you're too fierce. Jiang Wenying's face turned pale from what you said. He clenched his fists and trembled a couple of times.
I felt guilty toward Jiang Wenying for 0.1 seconds. How were you at Thousand Island Lake back then? Qiandao Lake is nearly 1,000 miles from Hengshan Sect, and it's sparsely populated. It's also 100 miles from Jiangqing, where Pei Guqing is. That's why I chose to die there. I just didn't expect him to be there.
I heard at the martial arts convention in Jiangqing, your junior brother publicly said he wanted to marry Miss Su, and then he got into a conflict with you. Worried you'd be upset, so I wanted to come and take you back to Hengshan. Never thought I'd run into you at Qiandao Lake.
When Jiang Wenying got to that part, he paused, and I sighed. I didn't expect to run into him in the middle of jumping into the lake either. Of all places and times, I was just a hair's breadth away.
Going from Hengshan to Jiangcheng doesn't seem to pass by Qiandao Lake.
To be precise, Jiangcheng is between Hengshan and Qiandao Lake. So, it's absolutely impossible to pass by Qiandao Lake when going to Jiangcheng. In response, Jiang Wenying's long silence.
Was I too blunt, revealing the truth that he's bad at geography, and hurt his pride?
I think your assumption about his thinking is spot on. You're really hurtful. You made Jiang Wenying nervous.
He's not going to hit me over this, is he? I had just finished asking when Jiang Wenying walked over to me. A figure stood by my bed, standing there for a long time without moving. I was so scared I immediately moved inward.
Junior sister, I started from Pingcheng to go to Thousand Island Lake.
Pingcheng is east of Thousand Island Lake. If you start from there you would indeed pass through Thousand Island Lake. Although Jiang Wenying unintentionally prevented me from returning to the real world as planned, she did mean well. Usually hates me so much, but now she wanted to do something for me. I was deeply moved. Thank you, senior brother.
You're welcome, junior sister.
Then the shadow in front of me faded.
He left.
Because Jiang Wenying was worried I was trying to die for love, she came to see me every day and even assigned people to watch me. She took away all the sharp tools in my room so I could only eat and sleep all day. When I had nothing to do, I'd chat with my junior brothers and sisters and direct disciples and then sunbathe. After lying around for a few days, I suddenly realized this life is no different from a vacation. So I suddenly saw the light and started my slacker life.
When you think that way, trouble will come looking for you.
Spit, spit, spit. I finally see things clearly. I planned to lie low at Mount Heng for a year, waiting for death. How could I hear something so terrifying? But what I didn't expect was that the system called it right. A few days later, Pei Guqing and Wen Hangxiu paid a grand visit to Mount Heng. They said they came to hand out wedding invitations. As usual, I lay at the door sunbathing every day, covering my face with a palm leaf fan.
Host, wake up. Your ill-wishers are standing right in front of you. How can you still sleep? You're hopeless.
Annoyed by his noise, I frowned, took down the fan, and saw 3 figures swaying before me. Because of the bright sunlight, I could barely make out the colors of their clothes. Jiang Wenying likes light colors. That light blue haze must be him. Pei Guqing prefers black, and Wen Hangxiu loves bright, flamboyant red. Jiang Wenying dresses most like me. I also like light colors, especially white, because I want to be in mourning, and wearing white has the same effect.
Host, Pei Guqing is frowning again. He's so dramatic.
Shen Jiwei, when will you stop being so selfish?
I was taken aback. Why label me right off the bat?
What did I do?
Shen Ziwei, when will you stop being so selfish? Did you jump into the lake just to get me to come? Well, your plan worked. But I'll tell you again, I don't like you. I've only ever seen you as a junior disciple. If you try any more tricks, don't blame me for being harsh.
Host, she's so full of herself.
Blame me for spoiling her while completing tasks. Jiang Wanyan spoke through gritted teeth, then he changed the subject and said,
Junior sister is now at Mom Hang. I've been sent to protect her and ensure her life goes smoothly. But if the alliance leader wants to disrupt that, then don't blame me for disregarding our past camaraderie as fellow disciples.
I've known you, senior brother, for 12 years. You still couldn't hide it in the end.
Of course, I can't compare to the alliance leader.
At that moment, when Hangsu walked up to me at just the right time, I saw a figure in light blue, rushing forward at lightning speed.
Sect leader, no need to be so cautious. I just want to have a chat with Miss Qin. I won't do anything to her.
Pei Gucheng got worked up first. What and the emperor is not worried but the eunuch is situation.
No, junior sister, I'm not comfortable leaving you alone with him.
I was so annoyed by Pei Gucheng that I almost laughed. Dude, can you open your eyes and see the world without rose-colored glasses? A blind woman like me versus a fully capable Wen Hangxiu, who is really more dangerous. I never said I liked him. Why is he so dead set on it? I like him. It's really frustrating. Even more anxious than me was Jiang Wanyan. He sternly questioned Pei Gucheng.
Alliance leader, tell me, how do you plan to be rude?
I'm really worried that Jiang Wanyan will hit Pei Gucheng. His face is livid right now.
This shows that sect leader senior brother is a normal and empathetic person.
You're a straight woman.
Then, neither Pei Gucheng nor Jiang Wanyan would give in. Pei Gucheng asked Jiang Wanyan resentfully.
Senior brother, aren't you usually someone who minds his own business? Why are you meddling in our affairs now?
Junior sister has always been my junior sister. Of course I can't be as heartless and turn my back like you, alliance leader.
Senior brother, you've gone too far with that remark.
Whether it's too far, the alliance leader knows well. I've seen everything junior sister has done all these years, and I haven't forgotten how you treated her.
No wonder Wen Hangxiu framed me back then. It didn't take much effort. All thanks to Pei Gucheng's waterlogged brain. Simple-minded. Physically strong. That's right. Wen Hangxiu framed me before. That's also why Pei Gucheng and I back then in public had that conflict. That day, Pei Gucheng planned to announce in front of everyone his engagement to Wen Hangxiu. But before the announcement, Wen Hangxiu called me alone into a room, saying she wanted to chat with me. She had never shown any hostility toward me before, so I went without a second thought. But as soon as I entered, her face changed. While I wasn't paying attention, she pulled out my short sword and stabbed herself in the abdomen. Then she lay on the ground and loudly said, I know.
You and Alliance Leader Pei are childhood sweethearts. You've known each other since childhood. Your bond is stronger than anyone else's. But Alliance Leader Pei says he only sees you as a sister. I'm not trying to compete with you. Pei Gucheng and I love each other. But Miss Qin, you can't just because of this try to kill me, right?
Soon, the house flooded with many martial artists, people from all walks of life attending the conference. Seeing me standing there, Wen Hangxiu fell in front of me. My dagger was stuck in her abdomen. She was bleeding profusely. So before I could say anything, and before I did anything, a stage set up specifically for me in front of everyone performed a play called Caught Red-Handed, a scene with solid evidence.
My martial arts against Miss Wen are only average, and I'm blind. Miss Wen's injury was not caused by me.
At that time, an elder stepped forward. He also didn't believe I would suddenly attack Wen Hangxiu. After all, I've never had a bad reputation.
Miss Qin, regarding this matter, should also have a reasonable explanation. You say it's not you? You were at the scene, but no one can prove it. Moreover, the weapon that injured Miss Su is your sword.
The situation is indeed unfavorable for me. Precisely because no one present saw it.
You can't conclude that I injured Miss Su. Besides, there are plenty of cases of the thief crying, "Stop thief, I have difficulty moving." To injure Miss Su so accurately, given Miss Su's keenness, is no easy feat.
Hearing this, the crowd immediately started whispering. At this moment, a healer stepped forward to examine Wen Hangxiu's wound. Wen Hangxiu choked out.
Do you all believe I would frame Miss Qin? She has no motive. Do I have a motive? To frame Miss Qin by injuring myself?
At this time, someone hurriedly invited Pei Gucheng, the host. After all, one is his junior sister, and the other is his fiancée. Outsiders couldn't easily make a judgment.
I can't see clearly. I don't know if Miss Su's wound was made by a horizontal stab or a vertical one.
It's horizontal.
My sword style is from the Hengshan sect. If it were my first time making a wound on Miss Su, it should be vertical.
So you deliberately changed your habit. I didn't expect you to strike at me. So Miss Shen succeeded.
I frowned. I was about to argue further, but was suddenly shoved aside by a great force. I fell to the ground. I heard everyone call him Alliance Leader Pei. I staggered to my feet.
Senior brother, I didn't do it. You can send investigators to look into it.
I couldn't see Pei Gucheng's expression. I only heard him shout coldly. He carried Wen Hangshu and left this place. A black figure holding a red figure paused as it passed me.
I've already made up my mind about this matter. Junior sister, please leave Jiang City on your own. From now on, we're even.
Pei Gucheng didn't say it outright, but between the lines, he had already decided that I was the one who attacked. After Wen Hangshu played along, he still put on a magnanimous act as if forgiving me. I was so angry I could spit blood. Pei Gucheng made the final call without even giving me a chance to explain. People aren't made of wood, who can be without feelings? Even though I only came to this world to complete a mission, I've known him for 12 years. Although not as madly in love as rumors say, I still have human loyalty. I didn't expect him to be like this. He didn't even check the truth and wronged me based on his own words. Good thing I only saw him as a mission target and not truly in love with him. Good thing after the mission is done, as long as my body in this world dies, I can return to the real world. Otherwise, a blind orphan, whose father is dead, bearing the charge of attempted murder of the Alliance leader's fiancé. How would I survive? But Pei Gucheng never thought about that. Son of a bitch, I'm like a nobody in a novel, running into an overbearing protagonist. Suffering in silence, unable to speak out. Back then, Jiang Wanyin and I weren't close, and I never expected him to help me. Jiang Wanyin has always been cold and proper. But whenever he faced me, he'd be expressionless, speaking as little as possible. After getting the cold shoulder a few times, I stopped trying. After that, our relationship was like those relatives you only see once a year, not close, not distant. Plus, my mission target was Pei Gucheng, so naturally, I focused on him. But now, in this world, my gratitude to Jiang Wanyin is real. And my disappointment in Pei Gucheng is real too. So I'd planned, after Pei Gucheng becomes the martial arts leader, to enjoy a little vacation in this world, but that feeling's gone now. I might as well jump into 1,000 Mile Lake and go back to the real world. But by a twist of fate, Jiang Wanyin saved me. After framing me like that, when Hangshu still has the nerve to suggest that we talk, I squinted at him.
Miss Su, you planning to reuse an old trick, crying thief again? Last time Miss Su said it was because she let her guard down around me, and this time.
Shen Jiwei, this was your fault to begin with. Now you're being sarcastic. Trying to make me think you didn't set him up. I know what you're up to. Don't bother with pointless excuses in front of me. I won't believe you, nor will I like you. You're just making me loathe you more. Just draining whatever bond we had dry.
I laughed. Even if it was just for the mission, I really did help him a lot. Not just me, my father treated him like his own son. And now, he turns his back so heartlessly. He doesn't think the bond is still there, does he? Borrowing the system's favorite line, I said to Pei Gucheng sarcastically,
Alliance leader Pei, you're so confident. With a heart as blind as yours, you're no better than me, who's physically blind. Your brain's so mushy you could shake it and pour out half a bowl of water. I definitely wouldn't look twice at someone like you.
What did you say?
I said even if I liked someone, it would be someone like the senior sect leader. Pei Gucheng, you don't like me. I've never had romantic feelings for you. I really didn't do anything to Miss Su last time. You're so hostile toward me. Is it because you caught Pei Gucheng's arrogance? So now you think every woman in the world loves him. Miss Su, please take off your rose-colored glasses when it comes to men.
Wen Hangshu is a promising talent in the performing arts. Hearing me say that, her eyes immediately reddened. He stepped forward and said,
Miss Shen, I don't blame you for hurting me, but you can't slander me like this. That day, it was indeed you who stabbed me with a sword.
With tears falling, she said dejectedly,
Miss Shen, could you drink this cup of tea? Let's both forget about this.
As for loyalty and affection, the Alliance leader has no right to say such things. All these years, how have my father and I treated you? Did we ever expect anything in return? The Alliance leader knows it well. So when you say our bond is used up, that's just laughable. We have no bond left. Pei Gucheng, you've even forgotten whose sake blinded my eyes. When your enemy sprayed poison powder, I stood in front of you. I took that disaster for you. That's why I lost my sight.
Wen Hangshu's expression was also grim. Only Jiang Wanyin smiled when you said you looked down on Pei Gucheng. But when you got to the later part, tears were welling up in his eyes.
I looked at the blue figure who had always shielded me. I sat up from the lounge chair, with a slight smile.
And even if I liked someone, it would be like the senior sect leader.
I'm so helpless. How does this girl act so well? But I still took her tea. And drank it. I don't care if it's poisoned or not. Or rather, I wish it were poisoned. That would really help me out. Pei Gucheng saw her crying. and immediately panicked. He accused me.
Shen Jiwai, you're still like this. Always thinking of yourself. Selfish and self-centered.
Just then, a pair of warm, large hands covered my ears, blocking out Pei Gucheng's yelling.
Junior sister, let me take you back to the room.
I turned to look at Jiang Wanyin. His skin was very pale, but I couldn't make out his features. I only remember he used to have a very upright, gentlemanly face. When he held his sword, his posture was tall and graceful, almost like an immortal.
Senior brother, I'm not that fragile. His meager words can't hurt me.
Pei Gucheng was furious at my words, stomping his feet, his face twisted in anger. But with Jiang Wanyin by my side, he couldn't do anything. So, he could only storm off with Wen Hangxiu, and leave my place. Wen Hangxiu shot me a fierce glare before leaving.
Is he just that aggressive? He gets angry so easily.
Cut him some slack. Old school male leads are always like that.
But in this world, our mission is to save the male lead's father, and help him become the alliance leader, right?
The male lead's personality is also inherited genetically. So, his father's personality is cut from the same cloth as old school male leads.
I'm really about to get angry. Do people think that if I don't throw a fit, they can treat me like a fool?
Host, your mission is already complete. Think about the money in your account back home. Cheer up. If you really can't stand it, you can choose to pay half of the bonus, and I'll apply to send you home immediately.
Forget it, I'll endure a bit longer. I've made it through 12 years. Can't I endure this last year?
Having just finished talking to the system in my mind, Jiang Wanyin smiled, which caught my attention.
What are you laughing at?
I used to think you liked him. After all, you weren't close to anyone back then. And you followed him everywhere.
When I relax, I like to tease people who are thin-skinned. Jiang Wanyin paused.
Was that really the case? I was just a bit too proper when I was young. I wasn't avoiding you, junior sister.
And now?
Now I've come to terms with it. You'll always be my junior sister. I don't want to see you jump into the 1,000-mile lake again.
Hearing him mention the 1,000-island lake, I said, Senior brother, don't worry.
I just want to go home.
When Jiang Wanyin heard me say that, he wasn't surprised at all.
I knew you just wanted to go home. The Hangshan sect is your home. I won't let anyone hurt you again.
When I heard this, a strange feeling suddenly passed through my heart. I'm about to go home. This feeling, I have to deliberately ignore it. I let out a sigh. How do I tell him? The home I'm talking about is another world. And the reason I came to this world, how do I tell him? Besides the bonus, there's another reason. I have leukemia. I didn't have long to live. But the hospital had partnered with the medical world department to find suitable patients to enter the medical world and complete missions. After completing the mission, not only a generous bonus, but also an additional 10 years of life. Over the years, my family sold everything for my treatment. They sold everything they had. The house is bare. So, I chose without hesitation to enter the other world, complete the mission. Because even if I fail, my lifespan is shortened, my family would still get money. It's a good deal. Anyway, I wasn't going to live long. That night, I suddenly felt a piercing pain all over. A very familiar feeling. 12 years ago, before I came to this world, I was lying in a hospital bed, living like this every day. Soon, a rusty taste filled my throat. Then I coughed up blood.
The poison your host, Wen Hangxiu, gave you has taken effect. We'll be home soon.
Hearing that, I suddenly thought of Jiang Wanyin. If I died, he would probably be the only one sad for me. I suddenly felt reluctant too. That cup of tea in the afternoon was a good gamble. He did poison it. But Wen Hangxiu, for a man, chose to dirty her own hands. That really wasn't right. Just then, bang, the door suddenly pushed open, and someone rushed in with hurried steps. It was Jiang Wanyin. She had been staying by my side a lot lately. I could recognize the smell of pine on her.
Junior sister, what's wrong?
Then she shouted out.
Someone, go fetch a doctor.
Footsteps sounded outside, rushing away. I grabbed Jiang Wanyin's robe beside me and smiled. The blood at the corner of my mouth kept flowing.
Senior brother, don't panic. I took the poison willingly. I know. Senior brother doesn't want me to leave. But I want to go home. Live well. Senior brother, you have a healthy body. So you must live well.
What about me, senior brother?
Jiang Wanyin didn't say anything. She gently wiped the blood off my face with a handkerchief. At a time like this, I didn't know why I suddenly felt at ease. A flash of white light crossed my mind. Suddenly, a guess was about to surface.
Brother, what color is the robe you're wearing now?
Jiang Wanyin's warm tears fell on my face. She said,
It's light blue. Sister, have you forgotten? You once said that I look best in light-colored clothes.
I smiled. I think it was just once, when I was watching her practice swordsmanship, I said that she looked bad in those dull dark colors. He put down his sword, looked at me, and said nothing. I felt awkward and left. I didn't expect that later he really changed all his colors. He never wore dark colors again. But not long after that, I accompanied Pei Gucheng down Mount Heng, and soon forgot all about it. I nodded and smiled again.
Brother, please don't be sad for me. I'm not from this place.
Jiang Wanyin cried. He said,
I know that when you were little, you were an exchange student. You told me the secret. I've always remembered.
I lifted my hollow eyes to look at him. For the first time, I so desperately wanted to see everything clearly. I started coughing up blood in big mouthfuls. Jiang Wanyin tirelessly wiped it away for me. I shook my head. Jiang Wanyin leaned over my ear, crying and begging me.
Sister, hold on. At least wait for the healer to come. Then I'll tell you a secret, okay?
I'm going home. Brother, I know your secret. You made it too obvious. You told me to find a good man. And I found one. Right in front of me. But I still have to go home.